Hello everybody, welcome to the I Am IT YouTube channel. My name is Shabazz and as ever I am the IT Geek. Welcome back to another episode on my YouTube channel. I'm in a bit of a different environment again. I'm not at my desk. I'm out in the wild. I'm actually in my back garden, kind of on the patio area. It's not really bit of a landing area before you get into my garden. So I did say in my video with Sylvan I wanted to do some different type of content, different locations, change it up a little bit. You know, we're getting towards the end of the year now, and I start to slow down with my content. Again, if you followed me for a few years, you'll understand that I do have kind of some downtime towards the end of the year. And it's just to recharge my batteries, come up with new ideas, and kind of plan what I want to do for next year. So this year's no different. So as well as my kind of finishing off, so I've got the Nerdio Wednesday, the kind of thing that I'm doing with the top 10 NME features. I've also got coming towards the end of the Windows 365 security and compliance stuff. That'll go on towards the end of the year as well. But I kind of want to do some content a bit different, a bit more personal, a bit less techy, but kind of related to what I'm doing, I suppose. So, kind of two topics you'll find in these conversations I'm going to be having, very formal. The first one is I want to talk a little bit about in conversations when I'm talking to people who follow me on YouTube. They do ask me about what do you do? How come success has been unprecedented, right? It's grown a lot and very quickly, it seems to get a lot of views and it's quite popular. I get loads of good feedback. So I thought, you know what, I'll share some insights into what I did. Right? There's no magic answer to this, by the way. There's no formula. All I can tell you is what I've done and what's worked for me, and hopefully that'll work for you. So I'm going to do a bit on that. So there'll be some episodes where I talk about my YouTube story, I suppose. And then also I saw so a friend of mine, a colleague of mine, Chris Hales, it was a blog, but it's also a video, and I'll put the link in the description of those videos when I do them. But it's something from John Saville. Everyone knows who John Saville is. He's massive in the Microsoft Cloud community and the YouTube community. I've looked up to him for a long time with the content that he does, and he was talking about what does it take to be an architect. So I'm going to do some similar, and then I'll talk a little bit about what he spoke about, but also I want to give my thoughts. I've been an architect now for almost 15 years, so I feel like I've got a lot in that space to talk about. So that's what's going to be other stuff I kind of share on these. We're not always going to be in my garden, right? There'll be some videos in my garden. I might go back into kind of Sydney and do some content. I might go into Wallet, so Wollongong's where I live. I might go into the beach and do some content. I'm going to do some different type of videos, different places. So today's video, I'm really going to start off that YouTube sort of story, and I suppose I've said it a lot of times. Why did I get into YouTube? Did it when when it all started. Just COVID hit. As most people, we were all locked down. We were confined to our house. We weren't really allowed to do anything, go anywhere. And I kind of set my office up so I could work from home on a full time basis, because that's I kind of transitioned from being in the office to working from home full time, like most people. So I kind of got an office space now. I kind of got my desk. And you know what? I kind of use it as a coping mechanism. So that's the background. That's the sort of the story of how it started. But I suppose then it's like, okay, what's worked for me over the years, and how have I got to where I'm at now, almost with up to 60k subscribers, regularly getting up to 20 to 30, well, more recently getting up to 20k views on a video, and what's worked for me. So that's what I'm going to start sharing with you. The first thing I'm going to do little bits. I'm not going to go through it all today. The first thing I want to talk about is consistency. So when I first started with YouTube, obviously because I was at home, I didn't have much else to do. I was just churning out videos, and you can question the quality of those, right? I was very new to YouTube, and like anyone, when you first start off, the quality is not going to be great. So the quality wasn't there from a content perspective, but I was very erratic with my consistency. Sometimes I'd do one a week, sometimes I'd do four a week. It was just so, I didn't have no pattern. So when people are kind of looking out for your content, they don't really know when to look out for. So I kind of I think it was after the first year, and plus the other thing that kind of helped me make this decision was I was just getting burnt out. I was doing too much. Obviously, when you're working all day, you sat at your desk, and then when you're doing YouTube, content creation, you kind of sat at that desk as well. So I had to make a change because I burnt out that first year, if I'm honest. I went on a really down spiral. I kind of left YouTube. I stopped making content for a bit. So what the key is consistency. So have a plan of when do you, and I suppose this goes for any type of content creation, right? If you're blogging, and I've given this advice to people before, when you're blogging, creating YouTube content, anything you're doing, where you're sharing information, especially in the Microsoft Cloud kind of community, which is what I'm part of, consistency. So make sure you schedule when you want to release your content, and just be consistent throughout that year, throughout the months as well. So for me personally, it's Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, right? And That's my schedule. Like 3 times a week, very manageable for me. My content's a little bit shorter, so I'm going to get into the type of content and the length of content in a different video. So that'll be probably the next thing we talk about in the next video about this whole topic. But that consistency is going to allow the people who are watching your videos to have a bit of an expectation. Oh yeah, I know Shahbaz releases videos on these days. I'll make sure I keep an eye out, and I'll hit that notification button or whatever, right? Or they'll look out for your blog, for example. But if you get consistency, that puts you in good habits. You know, like when you need to create content for you remember. Then that can allow you to create that schedule of creating the content. So, schedule Monday, Wednesday, Thursday for me, Monday, Wednesday, Friday for me. I know that I can do a recording session for this amount of time, get some videos recorded, and I can schedule them for the next 2-3 weeks. Okay, so consistency is the first key that I would recommend. Get a consistent pattern of when you're going to release your content. So that's the first thing I really wanted to share. I'm going to get into. I've already mentioned some of the other things I want to talk about, but as you'll see with what I'm going to talk about in the next video, I like to keep my videos short and sweet. So that's it for today. Hopefully you enjoyed a little bit of. Well, it's actually become sunny. It's been quite bad weather in where I live in Wollongong in Australia. The last few days this week's been quite badly. A lot of rain, but today's a bit warmer, which is nice. A bit cloudy as well. So I'll put some links in the description around some of my Microsoft exam topics as well. But hopefully this is just a bit of alternate content. Like I said, hopefully you'll gain something out of it, especially if you're looking to get into YouTube or any sort of content creation, or even if you are into content creation, you're just struggling a little bit maybe. So hopefully this will help you kind of define that schedule and structure that you need to be more consistent with your content. Okay, thank you very much for watching. Until next time, goodbye.